Cloud Communications Building on the campus of Texas Christian University. This is TCU News Now.
Hi, and welcome to TCU News Now. I'm Alex Buds.
And I'm Katie Vance. A judge is considering whether TCU administrators committed fraud by depicting the campus as safe. 2 athletic recruits accused of raping an art student in 2006 had criminal histories. The Star-Telegram reports that the university wants the case dismissed. If it is not, the trial is scheduled to begin Monday.
TCU students are becoming immune to construction around campus, but the building of the Bright Divinity School has some students more than frustrated. Ashley Ivine has the story.
The sounds of bulldozers and cranes are starting to become permanent white noise on the TCU campus.
Well, I think it's just kind of getting a little bit out of control, and I think it's unnecessary.
The Bright Divinity School found the construction necessary because of lack of space for their students and faculty. Crammed offices and overstuffed shelves are just a couple reasons the Bright School needed a new building.
This space, and we just cannot grow. I mean, there's just no space for any other person in this building. But with the new space, we could imagine a student body of 450.
The new building, which will be called the W. Oliver and Nell A. Harrison Building, will feature 2 gardens, a courtyard, and entrances in both the front and back.
Unfortunately, the construction of this building takes place on one of the more popular parking lots on campus, and this has some students frustrated. I feel as though it's a little ridiculous because I pay enough money that I should be able to park here, and they took away all these parking spots, and I have to walk about 8 blocks to school. I understand that the religious department needs a new building, but I don't think they need to put it where there's a parking lot.
Though the parking may be a problem for some students, Williams said that the Bright School followed all regulations involving the matter.
I'm glad to say that the question of solving parking issues on the TCU campus belongs to someone other than me.
And while parking is temporarily unavailable during the construction process, Williams ensures that the outcome will be well worth it when the facility is finished. Ashley Ivine, TCU News Now.
Construction for the new building will be going on for about a year.
The Neely Entrepreneurship Center is getting national recognition. TCU professor Ray Smiliner received a Lifetime Achievement Award. There are currently 144 students in the program.
Some TCU students took the day off for Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Others rolled up their sleeves to help out in the community. Sarah Fleischer has the story.
Martin Luther King Jr. Service Day is an opportunity for students to step outside TCU to work with the community. Students were finishing the paint on the trim at this house. Senior Brittany Shamlin started the service day last year along with several other people. She says serving is part of Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy.
Martin Luther King talked a lot about justice and the civil rights movement, and he was famous for his I Have a Dream speech, and that's all that people really typically remember about him. But he also had a speech called The Drum Major's Instinct, in which he talked about being a great leader is equivalent to being a great servant.
Although this day was specifically set up for community service, Brittany says serving is something that you can do every day.
Like, serving is not the same thing as helping someone. You don't have to change their lives by painting their fence or planting some tulips for them. It's really all about how you affect them relationally, like forming those bonds with them, having a conversation.
Instead of taking Martin Luther King Day off like most students, more than 160 students came to various sites around Fort Worth to serve the community.
Freshman Cortesia Alexander thinks volunteering is something that is important to have on your resume. She says she's having a lot of fun at her service site, but she's not that great at painting.
We're painting the trim of the house. I've actually painted like the blue part already.
Sophomore John Doe had a unique reason for participating in the Martin Luther King Jr. Service Day.
Well, most students like to take their time off, but I kind of want to be productive about what I do. So, like, doing community service would kind of help me get my mind back on track.
Some of the other service sites included the Samaritan House, Day Resource Center, Safe Haven, and YWCA Resale Shop. Sarah Fleischer, TCU News Now.
Last year when the program started, there were only about 80 volunteers. This year they have more than 160.
It's been nearly a month since the Horned Frogs won the Rose Bowl, but excitement in Fort Worth is still high. Madison Pelletier explains.
It is a win that keeps on giving as the excitement from the Rose Bowl has not slowed down.
It's one of the greatest things that ever happened to TCU. It's obviously good for the football program.
We expect to enjoy winning football from now on.
It's just phenomenal on all fronts. I think it gives a big boost to everybody, and it just made a feeling on campus you can't duplicate.
The effects of the win will continue to support the football program into next season.
The Rose Bowl win means more than just a trophy for the TCU Horned Frogs. It means a stronger recruiting class for the upcoming season.
Can't even begin to judge the effect of this. I really think it's going to hit next fall.
It will bring fortune and recruits and great benefits to the program for a decade, probably.
Next fall, the Frogs return 11 starters, including linebacker Tank Carter, whose success from the Rose Bowl will carry over into next season.
We're going to come back next year and hopefully rebuild our team. We're losing a lot of seniors and rebuild our team and come back next year hopefully with the same outcome.
Head coach Gary Patterson said the Rose Bowl win finished the 2010 season undefeated, but the future is his concern now.
For us, we're 0-0, started back in the offseason and try to grow up another football team. Obviously, we lost some good seniors, but the year before we lost good seniors, the year before we lost good seniors.
With the loss of so many senior starters, including Andy Dalton, the Frogs need to build off the Rose Bowl win to create momentum for next season.
I think we've kind of, set the tone for what, this program can accomplish. There's a lot of hard work put into that, and I think a lot of the young guys see that, and to not be satisfied with what we accomplished this year.
The Frogs will continue to carry the Rose Bowl win excitement into next season, with the goal to come out with another undefeated season. Madison Pelletier, TCU News Now.
The team expects the extra exposure to continue to grow after the Frogs join the Big East in 2012.
Many Frog fans are used to hearing the blaring frog horn whenever there's a touchdown. What many people aren't familiar with is what happens to the horn after the season's over. It's the sound of TCU football. And 4 men are behind all the noise. Jim Garvin and TCU grads Justin Garvin and Jason Lessiker operate and maintain the Froghorn. Colby Cagle joined the team for this season.
It really is a privilege what we get to do, and we treat it like a privilege. It's not, we never treat it like a job.
When the Froghorn isn't making noise at TCU football games, it stays here at Lessiker's construction warehouse.
They've let me keep working on it, and they've given me the opportunity to keep it maintained, to house it, protect it, which has actually worked out really well in the long run for the horn itself.
The horn goes through a process to prepare it for winter, which includes draining all of its fuel and oil. Lessiker says all the hard work is worth it.
Getting to hear students and faculty and just anyone who comes up, even just a fan who doesn't have any relation to TCU whatsoever, come up and just say, that's a neat piece of equipment. I really wish I could do it. Can I touch it? Can I get my picture with it?
The horn has become an icon for Frog fans.
Whenever the fans come into Amon Carter Stadium, they expect to see the Froghorn. Whenever we go to a bowl game, they expect to see the Froghorn.
Everybody, regardless of race, gender, age, or anything, wants to see the horn.
They look forward to taking the Froghorn on another special trip for the 2011 football season.
The national title game.
All 3 men say they want to continue operating the Froghorn for as long as they can.
Alex, that was a really great story. What was it like to see the horned frog up close?
It was really neat. I've always seen the Froghorn at football games, but it was really cool getting to know the people that make it happen.
3 TCU alumni are still in the running for a spot in the Super Bowl. On February 6th in Arlington, LaDainian Tomlinson and Drew Coleman of the New York Jets and Marshall Newhouse of the Green Bay Packers will play for this week's conference titles. The winners of these games will determine who will come to Arlington for Super Bowl 45.
Many basketball players are known for their height. Lady Frogs freshman Megan Hinson also turns heads with her height, but for a different reason. Josh Davis has the story.
Women's basketball coach Jeff Mitty isn't sure what he has yet in freshman Megan Hinson. Then again, neither many teams the Lady Frogs have faced this season.
It's a different factor, it's a different dynamic to the game. You've seen some teams that have said, we're not sure what to do with this player.
Mitty and opposing teams are trying to answer the same question. How do you use a 5-foot-tall point guard to your advantage? Mitty used NBA examples to support his decision to get the freshman on the court to see what she can do.
You never know with a player because you try to look at the NBA guys and you go, Muggsy Bogues was able to do this, Spud Webb, those type of players, but you've got to get them in the mix to see.
Hinson has seen action in 12 games this year, averaging about 5.5 minutes per contest. But she said her favorite game so far this season was one she didn't play in.
I really enjoyed beating Oklahoma because I'm from Oklahoma.
In high school, Hinson played for the 2A Christian Heritage Academy outside of Oklahoma City. It was there she developed the speed and ball skills to catch defenders off guard. Still, it takes a little more effort for Hinson to get shots away unblocked.
Take the open shots that I get and just try to use speed and quickness to get around, but definitely just have to be more aware.
While she's making the most of her minutes so far this year, Hinson said she's thankful to have the opportunity to learn from a senior class that's already seen 2 NCAA tournaments.
Everyone wants to play, but I'm, learning from Helena, Emily. There's just been some great senior leadership, and so it's been a really good time for me to learn and mature.
Time will tell if Hinson can turn into a Bogues or a Webb, but the one thing she's not short on is time. Josh Davis, TCU News Now.
Miss Texas, Ashley Melnick, will return to TCU as a broadcast journalism student in the fall. She placed in the top 12 at the Miss American pageant. Melnick made it all the way to the evening wear portion of the pageant, but was eliminated just before the talent segment.
2 TCU alumni are building a dream home, but it's not for them. Vicki Watson explains the reason for this 5,000 square foot house.
Right now, this house looks like any other construction project. Just wait a few months. Chris Powers and Andrew Curtis are in the early stages of building the 2011 Dream Home for Fort Worth, Texas magazine.
Powers and Curtis teamed up as recently as last October, and this is their first official project as a partnership.
The 2 men, both TCU graduates, have a combined total of 9 years of real estate experience.
We thought, we want to be building, we also want to be investing, and the 2 of us together have better minds than one of us.
Powers and Curtis purchased their first property off Camp Bowie last year and were then contacted by the magazine.
It's a great location that we found. I think there's a lot of people that'd be interested to see this type of product. It's going to be a home it's got it's a great size, smaller yard, not as much to take care of maybe as your typical 10,000 square foot dream home.
The partners fielded questions from the magazine during the interview process about any perceived lack of experience. But their entrepreneurial success as individuals, as well as their recent partnership with a veteran construction manager, is what they believe won the magazine over.
Kind of with his credibility combined with kind of our energy and know-how, it all kind of came together, and I think they were a lot more comfortable.
Powers and Curtis are excited about the experience and have high expectations for the house and all it will bring.
It'll make us a lot closer. We'll be able to work a lot better together. And overall, again, the exposure for 2 builders our age, it just couldn't be any better.
The home will be featured in Fort Worth, Texas magazine from March through October. Vicki Watson, TCU News Now.
There will be an open house upon completion throughout October. To see the plans for the house and pictures of other completed custom houses, check out our website at tcudailyskiff.com.
The Princeton Review names TCU one of 286 green colleges, but some students think that TCU could be doing more to limit the university's impact on the environment. The Princeton Review considers TCU's green highlight to be its investment in energy conservation, including LEED certified buildings. But some students are disappointed that TCU doesn't do more to involve students in sustainable initiatives.
You really want to see your school doing things that are right and good, in the community. And TCU does those things oftentimes, especially with recycling, but they're not always they don't always advertise it as well as they could. And so it almost seems like we're not doing anything as a school.
I was sort of disappointed because I didn't feel like it went with what TCU represented.
Sarah Shelburne, a sophomore art history major, helped lead a student research group as part of a public relations class to better understand what recycling resources were available to students.
TCU says that they have an aggressive recycling program and that they have recycling bins that are easily accessible and really easy to read and find out what you need to recycle in each bin in every dorm and every academic building. And we just needed to see if that was true. And
the research revealed that recycling bins were either missing or difficult to find in residence halls and academic buildings, and often bins were not labeled as recycling only. In a dorm in Worth Hills, recycling bins are located in the same closet as trash bins, but are not labeled as recycling only. And there are both recyclable and non-recyclable materials in all of the bins.
Like in Foster, my freshman year, sometimes we'd find that there aren't any on our floor, so you have to go up a floor, but nobody is really going to take the time, to go upstairs with their recycling and put it in their recycle bin, and so that's kind of where the system breaks.
I don't see aggressive movements to get this fixed. I don't see aggressive reactions to the lack of resources that we have.
Despite students' perception of the recycling program, the Princeton Review notes that TCU integrates sustainable practices to student life through curriculum and student-run organizations. For more information on the survey results, visit tcudailyskiff.com.
That's the news this week at TCU. I'm Alex Betts.
And I'm Katie Vance. For all of your latest headlines, check out our new joint website, tcudailyskiff.com. We'll see you next time. So are you excited for initiation?